everyone. It's Nancy, your favorite innkeeper from Old Square Inn in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania in beautiful Lancaster County. And today I'm going to show you how to make a super easy pie crust. Even the kids can do this one. And you can use this pie crust to make fruit tarts, make a regular pie, make hand pies, but let's get started. I'll show you how this goes. Now, the neat thing about this pie crust is that you don't mix it with your hands. You're going to throw it in a big container. Oh, hi, Erica. You're going to throw it in a big container and shake it, and this is what happens. So, get your container. And I started with a container like this. Hi, Joe. It took longer to shake it in a container like this than like this. So, you're going to start with 1 1/3 cups of flour. And as I was messing with this recipe, since I'm going to make this a sweet thing, I decided that I was going to add just a 1/4 cup of sugar to give this a little bit of taste. And then you need a 1/2 cup of Crisco. I've already measured that out into my 1/2 cup. And then just kind of plop this into the container. Oh, get in there, over there. If you want to, you can use your fingers. This is your house, right? And this is supposed to be fun. I wouldn't let the kids do this part because they get it all over the joint. Alright, so I have that in there. And then just kind of mix this around a little bit, break up some of those clumps. I got this recipe from my friend Bev, and we used to live in the old neighborhood together. And our kids grew up together. I mean, like, since they were babies, they grew up together. They used to, and this was back in the day when you could let your kids outside and run from one house to the next. We were probably 2 doors down from one another. All right, I have that mixed in there. Now, I'm going to throw, you need 3 to 6 tablespoons of cold water. And you know that 4 tablespoons make a 1/4 cup. I'm going to start with almost 4 tablespoons because I put in that extra 1/4 cup of dry ingredients, the powdered sugar. So just kind of sprinkle that around the top. And then put the lid on that. Now you're going to start shaking. So if you have been stuck in your house on Corona-cation, this is going to give your arms a good workout. It's going to fix that flabby part over there. Unless like you're one of those young 20-year-olds who's like, oh, I'm never going to get flabby arms. Sister, you will, trust me on that. So you shake this until you start to hear this clunking around like dough. Still sounds like fine powdery ingredients to me. Anyway, I got this recipe from my friend Bev, and this was back in the day when there used to be Tupperware ladies, and this was a Tupperware, let's see how this is working. This was a Tupperware recipe. Okay, can you see that? It's not together yet, but it's starting to get some clumps in there. And if you have kids with you on this, put them to work. You'll have fun shaking this. Just make sure that it's going to be a container whose lid doesn't fly off, because that happened to me once before. Now, ideally, when this is finished, you're supposed to let it sit in the refrigerator for, oh, maybe 30 minutes. Can you hear it start to clunk? Let's see what's going on with it. We're getting there. See those big chunks in there? Still a little bit of dough left in the bottom. Hi, Marianne. I remember you from the old neighborhood. Not that you were in the old neighborhood, but I think my kids were little when we knew one another. All right, it's starting to clunk. You can even sort of see it on the side. But my sister in Arizona asked me for this recipe the other day, and I called her. And I said, how did that work out for you? She said, oh, my Lord, how long did it take you to mix it? I said, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes, 5 minutes. I'm not sure. She said, oh, my gosh, I was mixing that thing for 30 minutes until I thought, this is stupid. But she did it anyway. Okay, see how that's big and clunked up? That's exactly what you want. Now just take this dough. And here's the thing about a Crisco dough. When you use butter as an ingredient in a pie dough, see, that's perfect, look at that. And when after I would put this in the fridge, I would divide this into 2 lumps and just do one at a time. Now I have some dough prepared. Anyway, butter in a pie dough makes it very, very flaky. But you have to be very careful about how you're going to use that, because the more you mess with butter in a pie dough, then the butter starts to melt, and it's the fat against the flour that helps make it flaky. You don't want to blend that into the flour. All right, so I have my little piece of dough. I'm going to put that down there. Flour on both sides. And the nice thing about this dough too is that you can mess with it a little bit. So it's not real fussy. I'm going to roll this out to about a quarter thickness maybe. The other thing I like about putting the powdered sugar in here is that it makes the dough a little bit more workable, especially if you're doing this with kids. It's an easy pie crust for kids. Okay. Can you see that from where you are? There we go. All right, now, a couple of ways you can do this. I have this handy dandy cut and seal that I got from Pampered Chef. Actually, when the kids were little, we used to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for them out of this. But we're going to pretend you don't have one of these Pampered Chef seal and deal things. And instead, we're going to use these glasses. This is just a small juice glass. You could use whatever size you want. Cut out a couple of circles. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put those on my tray. I'll show you that in a minute. But what else I like about this pie dough is that you can very tenderly put this back together. Now, you know, the more flour that you add to this, the thicker and the tougher that the dough is going to be. But you know what? This is a fun thing. You're at home, enjoy these days, because one day you're going to want these days back when you've been stuck inside and with your family and not spending money. Now, you won't want the illness, but you're going to want these days back. So make the most of them, have some fun. Or I'm going to cut out another circle. Put that on my tray. Okay, dough, you go over there. Have you ever been in this kitchen? Marianne, I know that you haven't. And I know that Erica, you haven't, but Joe has. And this is like the tiniest little kitchen you ever wanted to see. The kitchen itself is huge. This workspace is minuscule. So what you see right here is about the amount of workspace there is. All right. Okay, so I have 5 little pieces of dough here, and you could do, of course, as many as you want. So for my filling, I'm going to do this. I have some cut up pears. I have some sliced pears. I have some pie filling that I have left over. Just cut these up this morning, and I don't like my things very sweet, but I am going to add just a little bit of sugar to this, a little bit of sugar to that. Now, what you need to know is the sugar is going to make it brown more quickly, so you really want to pay attention to these. If you were with me last week, you saw me burn up the apple on the grill. You got to pay attention. All right, so on this one, I'm just going to put a couple of these little cherries. That's so nice. And on this one, I'm going to put some of these chopped up pears. But before I do that, I have this delicious jam. It's a raspberry jam. Put a little bit of that on it. Get on. Spread that around. Now, you don't want too much because these aren't very big things, and the filling tends to spread out. Okay, get on there, pears. A couple of little pears right there for you. And on this last one, I'm going to make this one just a little fruit tart. So I'm going to take this again, the jam, put some jam on there. I love raspberry jam, so good. And then I'll take some of these little pears that I sliced up. And I'm using pears because I have nothing else. Although pears are good. If I had apples, I would use that too. This is not cooked fruit. You could cook it ahead of time if you want to, but you don't even really need to do that. All right, now I'm going to put the tops on these, and I'm just going to take a little bit of water. Where did I put my water? Here it is. And I'm going to run my finger around this. This is just going to help the tops to stick down when you want to do that. Okay. Then these tops go on. Come on, get on there. I press them down just a little bit. You can see that that is starting to open up a little bit. That's okay. These are fun. And they are also delicious. Okay, so I have the tops on those. Take a little fork, press around the side to seal these in. And if you didn't already have a little tear on the top, what you would want to do is slice, just put a little slice in the top of it. There you go. Get that done. And then these are going to go in the oven at 425 for about, I would say, 10 to 13 minutes. It's going to depend on your oven. It's going to depend on how thick you make these, but really you have to keep your eyes on these. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven, 425 for 10 to 15 minutes, and let me show you what they look like when they come out. All right, this is what mine looked like. Now this is just the pear on top. That's really kind of ugly. I wouldn't serve that to anybody. And then these are the little hand pies. These are the hand pies that have some sugar in them already, and these are the hand pies without the sugar. I forgot to tell you this, and I'll show you what happened. Before you put these in the oven, be sure you brush the tops with a little bit of egg wash. On my first batch, I forgot to do that. So I thought, oh, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to pull those out of the oven, and I'm going to put some egg wash on top of those, and then they're going to be beautiful. Well, they weren't. Let me show you what happened to them. This was my first batch. Yeah, you can't pull something out of the oven and then try to brush something on top of it. It doesn't work, but those will be good for later. So these powdered sugar makes everything look lovely. So I might throw a little bit of powdered sugar on that. And maybe a little bit of powdered sugar on this. That's what I would do before I would serve these. That looks pretty good. With coffee this morning, that's going to be delicious. Let's just put this on a plate. Here we go. Ah, that looks good. Now we have to make some coffee. All right, so let's break into that. Oh, that looks yummy. Look at that. That is really good. I have powdered sugar all over my face. All right, now it's your turn to try. When you get these out of the oven, take a picture, post it, and let's see how you did with everything over there. All right, hi Robert. Hi Linda. How's everybody doing today? Good to see some of you guys I haven't heard from in a while. All right. So on Wednesday, we're going to be making stromboli. You need frozen bread dough for that. Maybe you can get it, maybe you can't, but take a look anyway. All right, I am Nancy, your favorite innkeeper from Old Square Inn in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania in beautiful Lancaster County, bringing you delicious hand pies. See you on Wednesday. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, Nancy here. If you like this video and want to see more, just click on the subscribe button below. And if you want to try even more delicious recipes from our award-winning B&B, click on the link in the description for our Let's Cook with Nancy cookbook. Makes a great gift for the chef in your life, even if that chef is you. All right, I'll see you in the next video.